Hi guys, I'm MG,
Hi guys, I'm Liam.
and welcome to Eat,
Feed.
Grow.
Today we're very privileged to have an esteemed colleague and friend, Grant Paterson, on the show. We're going to be speaking a little bit about his history and his upbringing and how he's become a icon and industry legend that he is today. Welcome, Grant.
Thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure, my brother. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you start off in the industry?
Okay, so I was studying and then eventually
What were
as-
you studying?
I was studying BCom accounting. I was at a private college, Dublin. After some time, things just weren't working out for me, and then eventually didn't end up finishing my degree. Small sides, hey.
Can I ask why accounting?
I sort of had the knack for it since like primary school. My father's a chartered accountant as well. I think I got his brain passed down onto me. So I've always just been really good with sort of numbers, anything that has sort of like a pattern behind it, or yeah, anything to do with logistics, or yeah, just numbers, spreadsheets. It's sort of what like pleases my eye. So when I see that stuff, it makes sense to me. That's what I sort of grasp at. And yeah, I was studying, about 2.5 years in, so I only had 6 months left. Dropped out.
Oh.
Yeah.
How were the parents? They must have not been happy with that.
No, the parents were not. Well, no. I had to explain to them, like, if you took a look at me from what I was in primary school, like a top A student, not top of like the grade, but I was like relatively
Getting solid good marks.
solid good marks.
consistently.
Yeah, it was just my languages were at least shit. That was the only thing. But science, maths, all of the sort of numbers things, it's getting all the good grades. And sort of just took a step back, and I like during an exam just didn't go too well. It was supposed to be one of my top subjects, and then I just took a look back at where I was in schooling, and then sort of looked at it, and I was like, I'm not the same person I was back then. My marks aren't the same as they were. Sort of wasn't as sociable as I used to be. So I could tell that like something wasn't 100% right with me, and it took that one exam for me to like clock that. Okay, yeah, this isn't the person I am right now. Isn't the person I should be, and so I sort of need to take a step back, get out, sort of reset. And when I explained it to my parents, then it made a lot more sense to them. Like, okay, no, we can see what you're referencing at. Like, we can see it. So they became a lot more understanding after I actually explained that to them. And then sort of just did a few delivery jobs just to make some money, just so I wasn't a burden. Like just trying to make some form of income.
The responsible adult thing to do.
Yeah. You don't want to just be living off other people's money, and like living on someone else's house would be a burden.
Yeah.
So then eventually at some point, weirdly enough, it actually kind of started because all the like house parties and friends, like birthday parties and whatever house shenanigans that were throwing around, I ended up always pouring drinks for people. Sort of just became like a small thing of, apparently I could make the best brandy and cokes. I don't know what specifically it was. I think I just like my brain took it in like, okay, you have to put in a certain amount of spirits, something to do with the mixture of coke and brandy, and it had to be the right ratio. Because if everyone just free pours it, you don't know if you're gonna get something that tastes like water or something that's just gonna taste straight like you're drinking brandy. So there was some late night conversation I had with a friend of mine, and he just basically said like, I always come to you and like I'll pour a drink, or my girlfriend will pour a drink, and then while I see you pouring a drink, I'm just like, just make me one, please. And so he brought up like, you should become a bartender. Like, you're good at mixing drinks, even though like all I was doing was just making spread and mix.
Yeah.
And then after that conversation sort of like kicked in, and I started thinking about it slowly and surely. And eventually I sort of ran into JJ, like longtime friend of mine, known each other since we were like 4 years old.
Yeah.
He was walking out of his shift, and I was walking into his venue to pick up an order for delivery. Yeah, cross paths after probably like 3 years of not seeing each other or not communicating, and then
That's a long time.
we split ways after high school. I hadn't seen or heard anything from each other. Just randomly by chance bumped into each other. Both of us, even leaving shift, me picking up an order, And then, just started speaking, and we found out we both sort of didn't finish what we started when it came to university studies. He'd been bartending for quite some time already. I was keen on bartending. At that point in time, we both wanted to work on the ships. And from there, he was like, hey, well, I mean, if you want to get started somewhere, we need people. And started working at Mambo's in Plumstead. So it was just a sports pub out there, very quaint, nothing too hectic, just pouring spirits out of optics, brandy specials, Jaeger specials, 4 for 60 rand, but cheap shit that we used to have back in the day.
I think that's the first place I met you.
I also remember, like, I'm very, very sure that at some point our paths would have crossed when I was working.
Yeah, around 2018, 2019.
2019, 2019 definitely. 2019, because I would have started, I think I definitely started in 2019. So, my first bartending gig was 2019.
Yeah, so when I was still
because
chef.
when you were chef that side.
That side.
Because the chefs would always come to Mambo's and Pirates at like 10, 11, 12 after their shift.
So I was like vaguely, I remember when our paths crossed again. You can elaborate about that. I was just like, your face seemed very familiar. And I was like, oh wait, I feel like I know you from somewhere.
Yeah,
and like Mambo's, and I was like, I
as soon as you said the word of the venue that I was looking at, then we were like, okay, no, 100%, it must have happened. Must have happened. But then I was working there for quite some time. Didn't expect too much from it. I always had the expectation of getting back into finishing what I started when it came to studies. But the money was good. Like, it wasn't phenomenal, but for the work that I was putting in and for the venue I was at, money was good, kept me going. Also, living with parents helped a lot. Not having to pay rent. But then at some point, it was after the first COVID. Then JJ had moved on to Rick's Cafe in Clove Street. And again, he needed some assistance, needed some capable hands. He'd already then had the cocktail bartending experience, was getting really passionate and deep into that. And I knew I'd been at Mambo's for like a year and a half, almost 2 years. And I was like, cool, either I'm going to dive in and going to continue this. And what I wanted to do essentially was get back into studying, but wasn't the right fit for me at the time. So I took the leap forward and did about a 2.5 month stint at Rick's Cafe. And that was my first exposure to cocktail bartending. Just getting a bit more hands-on when it comes to just making a proper margarita instead of a margarita with roses, lime cordial, and lemons that you've just cut and squeezed. A makeshift shaker where you've just got one metal tin and then whatever other thing you can find. And no one's ever taught you how to make cocktail before, but that's when those orders of cocktails would come through, and it would be a margarita or I think it was a Cosmo. Those are the first two, but no idea of what the recipe should be, no idea of actual ingredients. It's just, I've been told this, and that, and I can remember that, but I know I'm missing something else. And I'm just going to go for it. And people apparently liked it. I tasted it, I'm like, that's what you want to drink? But then, that was my first exposure to actually, like, learning the recipes of the drinks. Like, okay, cool, margarita is 2 shots of tequila. Learning your 2-1-1s, getting your balance between spirit, syrup, or sweetness and sour. And then ended up leaving Rick's Cafe during that second lockdown. That money wasn't great there. Went back, and then the main thing when everything's changed was I was at Mambo's probably for a good few months, and then met Nick, who sort of saw, he didn't have to see so much as what I was doing behind the bar in sort of a technical aspect, but just, I remember that his key thing that he would bring up was just my situational awareness. That's what he liked. Is that, I could have 7 guests at the bar, slips coming through, there's obviously people walking through the door, and then you're having to manage, because back then, at our venue, it was one bartender and you essentially the manager. You're not a manager, but if anyone needs to speak to anyone, they go into the bartender, and you have to run everything because your only other manager is at Pirates across the road, and they obviously full and packed and dealing with all their shit. So if stuff happened, you had to deal with it.
I should.
And yeah, he was just saying like the way that I can sort of pick up on like, okay, this person needs a drink, I need to keep an eye on this. And that's what he liked about me. So it wasn't too much about a technical aspect of my bartending, but just I think a few key characteristics that he saw that was like, okay, no, that you can go somewhere.
And how you balance service and manage guest experience as well.
Yeah.
And operations.
Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, that after that he sort of took me under his wing. Yeah, so after that sort of took me under his wing, went to Café Noir, where we obviously met each other. Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. And after we rekindled things. And yeah, then that's where everything kind of took off. That became the one biggest attribute from that venue was just that I was surrounded by a lot of knowledgeable people that had a lot of passion for what they were doing, and I was able to feed off that passion.
Mm-hmm.
So I like sort of as a side thing, I get a lot of questions like day to day, like during the week during service. People are asking like, "Oh, where did you train? Did you go to like a bartending school? Did you like study for this?" And for me, I know specifically, I haven't had any actual training.
Formal training.
Yeah, I didn't have formal training.
On the job.
Yeah, everything's on the job training.
Yeah.
But I think the key factor of that was just at Café Noir, with the team that we had, there was a lot of knowledgeable people that had a lot of information that I could feed off of. And that's sort of what had a little bit of an exponential growth for me compared to other people that may have gone to a bartending course or a bartending school. Yeah, because you sort of doing two things at once, where you're having to learn recipes and you're having to learn techniques, and at the same time you also have to like run service.
Yeah.
So instead of just focusing on the one where you're just trying to get all the technical aspects down, you trying to multitask and do both at the same time.
Do you not think that your passion or the way that you saw the industry after you started in it helped you learn from those individuals as well? Because you actually cared and you actually gave a fuck. The information that they were sharing with you absorbed a little bit better as well.
Yeah. I think what intrigued me in those days was the difference at what I looked at bartending was in a sort of sports pub, dive bar, compared to what bartending is like in a cocktail bar. There's a lot of things that are very similar in terms of the guest satisfaction and the way that you serve people, but it was the behind the scenes that sort of caught me on. So when it was, I think the first thing that like really captured me was like just doing milk punches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember you became very meticulous.
Yeah.
With like milk punches, and I was just like, I would ask you a question, and you're like, no, I'm learning. I've realized this from what I've seen in previous, so I'm trying to prevent that from happening by doing this. And I was like, okay, this is someone who's problem solving for something they actually care about. They're looking for the most efficient
I
way.
started, because with accounting, like obviously there's the one branch where you go off into sort of when you become a chartered accountant and then you sort of do auditing and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was doing job shadowing at PwC, but one of the key characteristics they brought up is like, cool, everyone thinks that an accountant is sort of behind the journals, behind the books. They're just plugging in data and information and then pumping out the information. But the one key thing that drew me in was they would say like when you actually go audit, you're doing a lot more than just the journals and the books. You're actually trying to figure out where they're wasting money. How is it that the business isn't as efficient as what it could be? And that was just something that clicks with my brain. It's like if there's a better process to be doing, I'm going to try and figure that out. Like if there's it doesn't necessarily have to be the faster way of doing it. But for me, it's always like, if there's a better way of doing it, I want to try and figure out what that way is.
And the end product's going to be a higher quality, even if it takes you twice as long.
Yeah.
You're just going to get a better quality at the end.
Yeah, which is, I feel like something I get stuck into quite a lot is just finding the most
it makes so much sense why you're the king of milk punches. This is getting enlightening.
Because
I think
No, you watch this all from the back end as well. Café Noir.
I saw this. Yeah, I
Yeah.
engaged with him, and he would ask questions about certain processes. I was like, "Is there a better way of doing this?" And I was like, "Well, technically, this is also my first experience of seeing this, so let's figure it out."
And then that's when you guys started. Okay, just for the people at home, just so you know, this is the father and this is his son. There's a little
that's the
intro.
inside,
Yes. So this is
yeah.
where the relationship developed. You guys are getting a back end view of how their relationship developed
So-
as father and son now.
So if you ever hear the father-son conversation, it's
Yeah.
it's
It draws into those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just, I think, back to Café Noir days, the buy-in.
Mm.
Everyone bought in.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone started there from day one. So before the venue actually started up, like we all had to do the pre-work, or the pre-venue setup, and like actually get the ball rolling on things. So there was no one who jumped in at a certain point that was behind anyone else. Like everyone had to do the grind work from day one.
And
Did everyone have a say in the processes, like the service standards and not just basic setup and what the menu was going to look like, but also how everything was going to run on the front end side of things? No. Okay.
Also, like for me at that point, I was very inexperienced in that sort of style of bartending or like just general like hospitality. So for me, that was an entirely new like learning experience. So I sort of just, which is also what I did, was just take in as much information at that time and just try not to like speak out when if like cool, I don't think things should be this way, but I'm hoping that the people above me obviously know better, and I'm gonna watch it play out and see, okay, cool, I understand why they did this, why X, Y, and Z went this way, because it made more sense. But yeah, no, we, like Ruben and myself at that point, we just try to like build up the knowledge that we were learning, and we were just trying to like sort of grow. I think that for both of us, I was like, our growing point was during those days.
So it was your sponges. Basically.
Yeah.
like but fundamental, like the way I think just the team bought in to what everyone was doing, even though everyone didn't know what the fuck was gonna.
Yeah.
They were still figuring it out, but everyone was still invested
in
in what's going to happen and
And
how it's going to plan out. Right?
There were times where I'm pretty sure we each questioned ourselves about like what the actual fuck. Remember the deep clean.
Yes. Yes. Oh, the deep cleans. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, when we stepped into that venue and we're like we weren't. It was just that we understand of like a general sense of just cleanliness and what is acceptable and what is not, and like we would walk in there like, hey guys, okay, cool. There's a few things that we just need to like obviously smooth out the edge.
Yeah, like let's raise our level.
Yeah, let's just bring up the standard a little bit, and then I think because that was the one thing that we did is like the first deep clean was just our team. It wasn't the venue that operates there in the day. It was just the night team that would come in for the Café Noir shift. We were like, we're gonna take it upon ourselves. We're gonna get this first one out the way. We're gonna set the standard. That was like,
yeah.
We want to set the standard now. Just raise the bar. But
what do you mean? Was it a separate venue during the day?
It was a coffee shop by day, and then it was like the hybrid. I think concept wise, great.
Yeah. The concept made a lot of sense.
Just certain mechanisms didn't function. In the way
there was a little bit of headbutting and it was a little bit difficult, but we still all knew what were they to do and like they
Yeah.
pushed for the
It was a growth experience. It made you guys and shaped you into what you are today, right? So at the end of the day, it was a positive thing. No
It
doubt.
was.
Yeah.
It was. It
100%,
was
yeah.
100%. It was. I got to meet this great human being here.
And adopt him as your child and son. Yes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
because I think what really like fascinated me about Grant is basically like his curiosity to learn more.
And just the way he absorbs so much information
Yeah.
for me is very superhuman. You know that you really are, Grant.
But it's also it's something like my economics teacher told me in high school. He's like, question everything. So it's also like
yeah.
he questions a possibility. He'll ask, okay, process whatever, but then he'll be like, okay, like nitpick it a little bit, be like, okay, can't this be like kind of done differently?
And how would we change it if we
Which-
wanted some of
Which
Yeah.
then ties into so like your whole thing of king of milk punch or whatever. Which ties into then like obviously there's a recipe that's been given to you, so it tells you exactly okay, do this and that. Anyone else who takes a recipe, they're gonna do exactly this and that. There would have been like 3 or 4 different variations where I would have just tested something and been like, hey, what if I change the temperature of the milk? What if I change the temperature of the actual batch? And it was like just doing different things consistently over the period of like 3 weeks where you make the same batch multiple times, but every time you do something slightly different,
One
you see
little
what the
tweak.
end, and you see the end result, and then it's like that's another like okay, I mean, this was before like ChatGPT where you could just punch it in and be like, hey, what is the optimal temperature that I should have X, Y, and Z at to do all this stuff? But it was that phase of like, okay, cool, I understand now that for a milk punch, I need to have my milk at a higher temperature, and that's the actual base cocktail is at a lower temperature because that temperature change helps with the curdling as well. And then obviously your filtering as well, like you want to have that sorted out. So having not just doing a certain filtration where you're just running it 8 times, like it's not optimal. So there's better ways of setting up your filtering so that you can just do 2, 3, maybe 4 runs, and it comes out the way you want it to be.
Dope. To me, it sounds like you approach this in a very scientific way with the 1 week and stuff. Did you have hypotheses before you started these experiments, or was it just like you understand that keeping control of certain elements and tweaking one little element will give you a different result, and you can assess how you approach it in the next way?
Yeah.
I think. Sorry to
Yeah,
interject. So like even for chefs, a recipe is just a guideline, and this is what I think everyday people don't understand. When you use a recipe, it's like cool. It's also up to your own interpretation.
Yeah.
So it basically gives you just the structure of what you need to make. How you play with what happens in between, that's entirely on you.
And
Yeah,
that's really
there's always minor tweaks that you can make in between.
Because it ends up being a recipe is someone figured out, okay, these ratios make this.
And that's what I was just about to say. The recipes, the parameters. If you play with the ratios within those parameters, you can get a different result. But that's kind of why I'm asking. 'Cause
Yeah.
Did you see something happening within those parameters that you could tell was going to change it, and why you wanted to do the certain tweaks you wanted to do?
So no, in those days it was just fully like it was just me being curious. So that was just me just playing around. I didn't have a hypothesis of it may change this, it may change that. It was just basically like it's just basically just like fuck around and find out.
I was literally thinking the same thing.
I think trial and error is like one of the greatest ways of learning.
Yeah.
It's also the most curious because when you see someone else doing it, you can instantly go, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then they're like, how do you know this? It's just like, because I've done this before.
Yes.
So when you tell them it's going to come out murky, and they're like, no, I followed the recipe, and it's like, no.
Yeah.
It's gonna, because you see signs that you're like, oh wait, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
This ended badly for me.
Yeah.
I think with anyone, when something ends badly, you're like, yeah, okay, it becomes ingrained in you. So you're like,
I fucking knew it.
That's what it was. It's like in those days during like Café Noir days, it was a lot of curiosity and a lot of growth. And then all those experiences led up to the point where now it is a little bit more, I can sort of foresee if I change this. And the more exposure to those experiences, like obviously built up the knowledge that now I have a better understanding of like if I was to change this process and do this particular thing differently, I can sort of now expect the result to be different.
So margin of error has decreased.
But whereas back then it was literally just me just messing around.
Yeah.
Because like,
you would just
you have to. Yeah.
I think that's and I tell people it's like the best way to learn is just go out and do.
Yeah.
If you wanna do something crazy, mix chocolate and whatever. Like
yeah, it's like when you and I made that one drink during shift, like during the middle of shift.
Yeah.
And it was just we just what did it start of? Oh, we had it was one of the nuts. I was like, oh, we should use it's pecan nut. No,
it wasn't pecan. It was
Walnut?
no, it was pecan nut because you didn't have to crack the shells as well.
No, it's pistachio.
Pistachio, that was it. Yes, because someone had mentioned pistachio earlier in the shift.
Yeah.
And then you were like, hey, come, let's just make a cocktail. And then the whole process from there was just like, pistachio has been on my mind quite a bit. Like, what can we do with that? And then you brought up the flavor matrix.
Yeah.
And then from there, just boiled off like what works well. And then there was like, okay, well, pistachio I know is a key ingredient.
Yeah.
Okay, I want this sort of fruity element into it as well. And then we saw a pairing that went well. It was tropical.
Yeah.
Okay, add this tropical sort of, and then that became. That was.
We did a milk punch.
Yeah, we did a milk punch with that, but the tropical element.
What's it? It was
pineapple, coconut,
no,
mango.
Was it?
I have the recipe written down.
Was it mango? No, no, it was
lychee.
Lychee, yes, it was lychee.
There
That was the
yeah.
And yeah, like just for random shits, like just decided, okay, cool, we're gonna pair pistachio with lychee and just boil from that. And yeah, that's still like an interesting thing of just like we just picked a few key ingredients and then like fucked around and found out from there and like boiled a drink that we were both very happy with.
Yeah, we were like, what? This actually tastes really nice.
Yeah.
Because
that was a rum pistachio lychee clarified milk punch.
Yeah.
That sounds fucking delicious.
Yeah, it had this like weird like funk to it on the
Yeah.
nose, but then when you tasted the drink, it didn't taste like how it smelled in the nose. You know?
Yeah, because it was nutty, like it tasted like an omniac mixed in with like some tropical,
like a Armagnac pina colada that's been kind of clarified but has some nutty undertones to it as well.
Because that you weren't expecting that tropical.
Okay, you guys know you're gonna have to make this for staff drinks now one day, eh?
We
I want to fucking try it. I know when the guys watch this episode, they're gonna want to try it too.
It's an expensive drink to make.
Yeah.
First of all, because you're using pistachio.
Yeah.
You have pistachios there.
We
also have pistachio essence.
No, you gotta do it properly.
Okay. I'm not gonna shortcut your guys' recipe.
Infuse that into the rum.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make a plan. I'll sort something out. Let's not worry about that.
Okay. Yeah. But also, I think also just like Café Noir, you're probably gonna talk about this. Your protege.
Yes. Yeah.
The way you thought out your concept.
Yeah.
And everything was just like, I was just like, yo, this is someone who's actually thought about it and has researched and is like very serious.
Okay, now Grant has to tell, what did you do for protege?
Well, protege was over a month, so there was four competitions every week spread over the month, and then the first one was just a speed round. So that was that just became muscle memory. At the same time, that was when JD was also doing world class. Is literally when he finished nationals for world class and was preparing for globals, and then I was busy with protege at the time, which is funny and weirdly, sadly, was also the last protege that's taken place.
Yeah.
That's something that should definitely somehow like come back and be like, revitalized in the industry. But yeah, sort of four bartenders from different venues, all just getting together. Like, it doesn't matter your experience, it doesn't matter your technical skill. The whole idea was
No,
just
the whole thing was you had to be less than a year in the
yes,
industry.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
amateur,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
sort
amateurs.
of newbie bartenders. But just that there was a masterclass that took place on the night. So that's why the speed round was first, because you obviously knew what drinks you had to make and just prepare for your speed round. But the masterclass would prepare you for the next competition. in a
Okay.
sense. And so you'd start the night very social, get into it. Okay, it's the masterclass. They give you sort of key things that you need to pick up on and pay attention to that's going to assist you for the next round. And starts off with the speed round where I've been spending multiple nights at Fable. Because that's where I was sort of between the two venues, because that's what sort of shifted me into Fable as well. I was sort of being split part-time between Café Noir and then also Fable as well. And I remember JJ sort of running through notes and prepping for Global's World Class. And then there's me sitting at quarter bar with bottles of Valpre, with just empty water bottles filled up with water, labeling each bottle that this is my Campari, this is my gin, this is my gin. I said that right.
Yeah, your vermouth.
Vermouth,
Yes.
yeah. And just getting the muscle memory in, what is going to be the most efficient way for me to get all these drinks out. And I still got videos of me just like recording so I can watch the timestamps and see how long it took me, where I sort of went a little bit slower, where I could have done something differently. And then, yeah, sort of just did the speed round competition. And I know that one I came second because I think I was doing the whole like two bottles at the one time, bounce pouring, cutting at the same time, and then one of the other bartenders told me to do that. I was like, okay, we didn't expect you to bring all this out now. Okay, we see. So then he also brought that up, and his time was faster than mine. And yeah, I think they because the judges were also a very close circle around me as well. And I know as well that they were like, okay, look, we have to be a little bit harsh on you. Like, the judges are very close to you as well. We can't just
Yeah.
make it easy for you. Like, we have to be harsh. So even though, say, there was a difference in the quality of drinks, but speed round is about speed. Who got the drinks out faster? Okay, cool. You got the drinks out faster. And then I think that's what also incited like the next three rounds. It's like I couldn't whitewash the thing.
I remember how
Yes.
upset you were
Yeah.
because you were like you were pissed because you're like no.
But it made sense. Like
and,
everything made
and,
sense.
and then they were like
reasons
everyone because everyone knew you were gonna take
it was an expectation, but now
So-
it's like, okay, no, we're gonna like put you down one notch. You're gonna really make you work for these next three.
yeah.
And then that little fire up your ass, and you were like, okay, fuck you, I'm gonna show you
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So what was week 2? What happened in the next week then?
Week 2. So I remember one of the rounds was a big emphasis on the garnish, but I feel like that was week 3.
Oh yeah, the serve.
Yeah.
No, that was
Because there was
the final. The final was
wasn't the final the combination of the previous two.
yeah, because the final you had to do a whole presentation.
Yeah. Oh, you had to. Yeah, that was basically like if this was your drinks menu and this was your bar,
Yeah.
how would you serve your drink at your bar? Like
Okay.
you had to take control of the situation. Like now it's not just like, oh, I have this drink and I want to use these flavors and these ingredients.
It's
and
the
this
full
technique.
kind of package
You needed the full
experience,
package.
yeah.
So that was the 4th round. That was the last round where you needed to really take control. Like from the moment that obviously the judges come in and it's about
Hospitality and
hospitality.
full experience.
Yeah. So the one round before that I think was sort of a round about an emphasis on garnish. Like your garnish had to obviously be visually appealing and it had to play some emphasis in the overall drink itself.
Yeah.
Like, does it tie into does it make sense that the garnish that you have selected for the drink
Does
ties
it either
into-
complement or contrast the flavor profiles that are going in the drink? And
like-
is there a
Or the
purpose
story,
behind it?
or the
Yeah.
story
Yeah.
behind.
and is there like
Yeah.
an aesthetic like
Yeah.
It's not just a random flower or an
Yeah.
orange coin.
There
and
had to
then-
be reasoning
yeah.
behind it, and you
Okay.
had to obviously be able to tell that. So now there's one round that I'm drawing a blank on that I can't really remember. Yeah, I'm lost there. I
Yeah,
can't remember
it's
that
been a
one.
while. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
But like, speak about the final one.
Okay, yeah. So that was. I remember. I don't know how it came about, but just pomelo was like one of the key factors that played into it. Just because Spa was having specials on pomelo,
Yeah.
and that was the thing that like drew me in at that point in time in my like sort of path, was using ingredients that I've never worked with before. And like I've worked with grapefruit and all the obviously other citruses and everything, the very generic ingredients. But pomelo was one that is accessible, but I'd never worked with before. So that was sort of the drawing factor for me. It's like never used this ingredient before. What can I do with that? And that was an odd one, because when people saw me like bring out a blender for cocktail, like, is he just gonna do like a daiquiri, like a frozen daiquiri? Is this what he's doing? And like, no, I'm making like a sort of foam, but I had to blend it in front of the judges as well. It sort of made a pomelo foam, and the base.
Used pea blossom.
Yeah, pea blossom.
Butterfly pea blossom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that was an interesting round, because really like took over having to curate the whole experience of like, if this was my venue, what is it that I needed to, what is it that I want to sort of project, and what is it that I wanted to
The guest experience.
Because he got the whole staff involved. Like,
Yeah.
From Café Noir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Tell me more. Don't just leave me hanging
So-
like this, guys.
so- what's it? He started at the bar, whatever,
Yes.
and everything, and he specifically picked a table,
Yes.
and he was just like, "Okay, I need you guys to like watch, and then I'll say this
I'm gonna cue
specifically,
you in a certain way. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
and then I need you to set up that table."
So that,
Because so they couldn't see it. So we secretly, like,
Yeah.
while he's still show, set up the whole table with all of his for his serve
Yes.
and
yeah,
whatever.
like obviously having the water available at the
Yeah.
table as well, and obviously the napkins and everything. So it was just, I told yourself and
Yeah.
Ruben, like, hey, when I say this, there's these things I need to grab to set up this table, because everyone's focus is drawn onto the bartender. So you're all standing at the bar, and I'm like, okay, cool. So it's an experience. Like, I need to actually make this a thing. So get the judges, like, get them surprised in essence, and sort of take them out of what they were expecting. So, hey guys, if you would, like, after I'd finished making the ingredients for the drink, and then all I had to do was just boil everything together. I was like, do you guys mind joining me at the table behind you?
You took
So
them on
everyone-
a journey. My
Yeah.
boy. You took them on a fucking actual journey.
So it's sort of, then they obviously like turn around, and then like you see this like dimly lit table in the corner with a candle, and obviously water glasses. Because no one had been expecting it. Everyone's focus was on me at the bar. So like,
And then everyone was like, "When did this happen?"
Yeah,
Yeah,
the shock factor.
because everyone was
He
like,
pulled a magic act. He literally
Yeah.
did a magic
Yeah.
act with
Yeah.
the competition format in it. That's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I didn't get to see this, dude.
everyone was surprised because like you literally go, "Wow."
Because no one was
Like,
expecting
everyone's
that.
like, when did this happen? Like, even Bruce was like, when did this happen? Even the judges, you saw their faces like,
Yeah, because I kept everything like hush hush from them. Like I didn't involve them in anything. I was like, cool, okay. I can only tell the people that aren't judging me. So I'm like,
Yeah.
cool, okay, let's do this. This is my plan. This is what I want to execute. All you gotta do is just grab these few things from me, pop it on the table. I'm gonna say the keyword, and then you guys know to start setting up. And then as soon as I ask the guests, the judges, hey, do you mind joining me at the table? They're gonna turn around and be like, what?
because
then sort of
they would have looked around.
And
Obviously,
they probably walked past
the.
the table, but they
Yeah.
were so focused on Grant behind the bar and doing the prep and setting everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just sort of prepped up the drinks itself, and then actually bought the drinks at the table for them.
And put it all together. Yeah.
Yeah, tied in the whole story behind it, like pea blossom just being sort of the color change. So there was a color changing aspect with pea blossom that when you add acidity, it goes from, is it from purple to blue or blue to purple?
Blue to purple.
Blue to purple, yeah. So when you build the drink up, then obviously tying into the whole story, and essentially you pour in the gin, which was infused, and then the base of the cocktail, which was all the other ingredients besides the spirit. And then when you pour that in, the blue spirit essentially changed into like purple mix.
So this was a full magic show.
Yeah. And that was sort of like the, okay, now everything's coming together, like everything that I've worked towards is sort of.
Would you say that was the penny drop moment from balance sheets to balancing drinks, that you actually knew that this is made for you and you're made for the industry?
I think what that experience did for me was actually just put me out of my comfort zone, which helped a lot. Because usually if you're just very like analytical and very logical, you're normally like in the back end. So you're usually doing the books, or this admin and other stuff you're doing behind the scenes. But now, in that instance, now you actually have to you have to be like the face. You have to be the
forefront showman.
I remember how nervous you were about it, and you kept rehearsing the whatever and making sure we understood our cues.
Because this all needs to play out.
I remember speaking to you afterwards, and I was like, did we fuck anything up? And you're like, no. Everything
exactly what it is.
Everything played out exactly as I visioned it. And I was like, I'm glad.
But I think it wasn't so much that whole experience just like really just pushed me out of the usual scenarios that I'd be situated in. So it did well for me in terms of just pushing me to see like, okay, there's this aspect as well. Like I am capable of doing that. If push comes to shove.
I've seen you at work. I knew this. You never explained this protege story.
It's a great story.
Yeah.
It is.
And then after protege, what happened then?
Protege, then I sort of started leaning more into Fable. I just preferred the environment. I felt like it was better suited for me. And then there was a few months where I was working both venues. Wherever there was the busier night, that's where I always ended up being. Just because that's where obviously the venue needed the most assist was on their busy nights. So and eventually towards the end of that year, then just felt a lot happier being at Fable, and I was like, okay, cool, this is sort of where I see my trajectory now. And then became full-time employed. Fable was working alongside Ryan and JJ at the time, the OG Fable crew.
The powerhouses.
When things were so much simpler and all we had to worry about prep was just raspberry syrups and lemon juice. And before what Fable's become now, it's a lot more technical, and it's a lot more work goes into it behind the scenes that people don't see.
And elevated as well. But that's cool, dude. That sounds so interesting because it kind of ties into the whole growth isn't linear thing. Like you mentioned 4 different learning curves through your journey, and it just kind of shows you that once you peak, there's going to be another mountain to climb.
There's a side stream that you can sort of jump on and like sort of pick up from there, like a new set of skills. That it's not, like you said, it's not linear. It's not all going to grow the way that you think it is. And
are you enjoying it a little bit more than you were with the accounting thing?
Definitely. Yes, 100%. Like right now, day to day, I'm doing a lot. I'm involved a lot in service, but also I have a lot of responsibilities out of service that guests will never see the light of day. Like
cash apps and rosters
and all the other nitty-gritty admin that needs the place, that the business needs to be operational.
The little cogs.
That's sort of like the role that I've sort of filled up now, where I have a dual purpose of like I can do a lot of the admin and all the other things that people never see, but then also I can sort of be behind the bar and serving the guests and curating experiences and just trying to have like the guests at the bar have a good time. Like they've come to Fable, they have an expectation, or they have some sort of just feedback from other people who visit the venue, and they just want that cocktail experience where it's not just about like, I want to go out for margaritas. Like, no, there's something more to tie it into.
I want to go out for margaritas from Grant.
Yeah.
If only we could pull up some photos from when you have very fun times behind the bar.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say photos from Protege. I was like, no, those need to die. Those need to die.
Oh wait, yes, they exist.
There's photos out there.
Yes.
I still have the Google Drive photos of myself and Protege.
Are we going to plug it into Clint there?
Hey,
It's like, yes, he wants it.
I look like a 17-year-old there.
Well, everyone looks young back in those days.
Yeah.
Sick. So then, what's the next step, Grant?
Next step, ish. Yeah.
What's the next learning curve challenge for you? Because it sounds like you went from balancing sheets to balancing cocktails to balancing yourself. Where's the next balance for yourself?
Oh, so I think I'm still balancing on myself. I think right now I'm very happy with where I am. I'm very happy with what I'm doing. I think now I need to sort of focus more on actually myself.
Yeah.
Because even like there's a lot of people out there in the industry who's been in the industry a lot longer than what I am. But now I'm also reaching a point where, okay, well, cocktail bartending, I've been going on for 4 years, but bartending in essence, it's like 7-8 years now. So it's something that hasn't clicked with me yet. I haven't had that actual click in my head of like, I've been doing this for a long time, because I still feel like, I'm not reading up as much as I should be, or there's still a lot more that I could be doing in terms of just techniques and getting out there. I think my drawing fact, well, what's pulling me away from that is my sort of responsibilities of my job.
Yeah.
And I'm not leaning into sort of the creativity aspect, which I feel is like why it makes me feel like I haven't been in the industry as long as I actually have, because I've also then reverted back to sort of the logical side of like, running the numbers, doing the cash ups, doing the rosters, all of that stuff, where if I actually lean into sort of the creativity of hospitality and like cocktails, then there's a whole other stream that I could take. Because now I've just been sort of running things to just make operations efficient.
So you became an operations specialist.
Yeah, and now I think like that it's beneficial, obviously, to have that. But if I actually really want to push forward now, because I have those skills, I've learned everything I need to learn from that. I know it's sort of like plug and play for me now. And now, if I actually really want to push forward, I'm actually going to lean into
the creative.
Do you also not feel that it's a little bit of your hunger for growth and knowledge? Because you've gone through these different periods where you've learned so much and you've grown so much that the whole timeline of 8 years doesn't feel as long as what it actually is. So you still see room for development and growth. So that's why it feels like maybe 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But it's actually been 8, and you've been cutting it and doing the chunks and the growth.
All the chops and changes and like what it is that I was focusing on, sort of like I said,
it accumulates, but you're only seeing the little tip and the
I'm seeing the small little group growths and like the full scale of
100%.
everything being played out at once. Yeah.
I think that's it's good to stay hungry.
100%.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing of always wanting to learn and always having an open mind to learning new things.
It's never a bad thing. That's not.
No, it keeps you young.
Exactly.
And also, I always think back of whenever anyone's talking about learning, it's like I don't know who would have said it or where it came from, but it's the whole thing of like the moment you decide to stop learning, you're not alive anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you should be learning continuously until there's always something out there to learn. You're never gonna know everything or have enough knowledge to be satisfied.
And
Yeah.
if you ever do, it's a bit of a Dunning-Kruger effect where you feel like you're smarter than what you are, but the Dunning-Kruger effect basically is smart people think they're dumb and dumb people think they're smart. The smarter you think you are, you're actually dumb because you know you're not seeing the rest of the iceberg underneath the surface.
Yeah.
And the dumber you think you are, the more you've pushed and put into growing and getting smarter, that you actually you're just seeing the bottom bit and you're not seeing the huge chunk of ice and tip at the top of the surface of the water.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair,
Yeah.
fair. Yeah, no. Even God rest his soul, Charlie Munger, um, investor, things partner.
Bill Gates.
No, investor, Berkshire Hathaway, famous investor. How can I forget his name so easily? Warren.
Warren Buffett.
Warren
Yes.
Buffett.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Warren Buffett's long time investing partner. Berkshire. He was just like, because he passed, I think, at 98 or 99.
Sure.
And
That's a good innings for him.
I think his last interview, he was just like, talked about just learning and life and just like there's certain things like as you get older, you just like you aspire to, but like you like okay, cool, but obviously through time you shift, your path shifts,
Yeah.
and it's like something you used to aspire to want to achieve. You realize it's no longer something you actually want.
Because you start getting closer and closer to that achievement. You're like, maybe
No,
this isn't for me.
It's you do get closer, but you also like because your growth might change. You might look at okay, you put it on the back pedal. It's like okay, I've acquired this amount of skill from it, but now my path is here, and
I can use that skill
think
that I've
that-
learned for something
yeah.
else.
Yeah, so something that ties into like my growth was through high school and then university was like what I envisioned when I started to become an accountant. One of the things that because I was so hyper focused on the end goal, um, I sort of broke off ties of anything else that I didn't feel was necessary to get me to where I wanted to be because I was so hyper focused on the end goal of where I wanted to be. And so like one of the things I like in grade 10, I sort of dropped music. I was studying music for 7 years. Like so I played guitar for 7 years from primary school to high school.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. But like classical guitar, just straight. I really wanted to do Spanish guitar. Spanish guitar is what I was really intrigued to.
Flamenco.
Yeah, that's what I really want. I had a real passion to sort of progress and get onto that. But when I was in grade 10, because everything was so goal driven towards being about becoming a chartered accountant, that anything that didn't sort of assist me to get to where I wanted to be, I sort of just dropped that off. So my decisions became very essentially I had like a tunnel vision. So anything that didn't help me get to where I wanted to be, I sort of put that aside. But then that also became sort of a downfall for me, where a lot of things that may have had a creative outlet for me, or would have brought some sort of sort of joy or some sort of escape from your mind from being so like analytical all the time. And those things sort of dropped off. And I do think back to those days and like if I had maybe kept up, like say with sports or because I played sports throughout high school, but after high school I stopped playing sports and I stopped music in grade 10. But it's like maybe if I had those other things just on the outside that didn't have to do anything with where I wanted to be, but it was just some other small things to have on the side, then maybe things would have been different. But yeah, from 14-year-old boy in high school, from what I saw my life to be, where I am now, not the picture I had envisioned at all. It's
No
not at
one's
all.
no one's pictures.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't tell the future, Grant. There's
Exactly.
no-
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I feel like you're doing fucking fantastic, my bro.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry. It's my feet, dog. It's my feet. I'm sorry.
It's the beanbag.
Easy there, Goofy. Easy there, Goofy.
But yeah.
No, man. I think life takes you on different paths.
No, you're not always gonna end. Some people end up where they're supposed to be and exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Doesn't happen for most of us, but doesn't mean that where you are right now isn't where you're supposed to be. So
I think everyone is where they're supposed to be at that specific moment.
And
It's big.
what is to come is meant
Yeah.
for you.
it's
What
just
is meant for you is
dependent on
meant for you,
your-
and it will come eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just dependent on your choice that you make.
Yeah.
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and there's consequences to every choice we make in life.
Yeah.
Mm.
But there's never a good or bad choice.
Yeah.
It's just a choice.
If you take all those choices as learning experiences, doesn't matter if it was a bad one, you learn from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Mm.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know why we're getting so. No, I don't know.
Okay.
But I'm enjoying this. I'm liking
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
This conversation is very nice.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing there, Shaggy?
I'm not gonna laugh now.
Oh, why not? So you mostly accounting and life and bartending now, and any other creative outlets besides work? Well, the server side of work where you bartend and other stuff.
Not really. I think work's sort of taken over quite a lot. Trying to think. Yeah, work's taken over quite a lot. That's what I say. Like when you say like sort of the future prediction, I see things going. It's like I need to start focusing on like because I don't have the whole like plan future vision out of like where I want to be, what I want to be doing. But
You're just kind
I
of
think
riding the wave. And
riding the
enjoying
wave
it.
right now, but I can tell like I'm reaching a point now where I need to actually start diving into like what is it that's actually gonna like I'm happy where I am, but like what's gonna bring me the most joy? Like, where should I be situated to?
I think it literally it's freedom of first of all having a choice.
Yeah.
I think it leans down all to that is because I realized from previous work that when it becomes all consuming, you start to undervalue yourself and you start to stagnate.
Yeah.
Because you're so hyper focused on not self growth, which
Yeah.
will make you actually better at your job. It's more about making sure the machine is working.
Yeah.
Is this the whole comfort breeds content
It's
narrative?
pretty much
It sounds
like
like
falling into a comfortable space, even if it's uncomfortable. It's still comfortable because it's
Sort of safe, like
it's the devil you know and
Yeah.
the devil you're willing to deal with versus
the unknown.
A new experience and a challenge that you want to set
And
for
a change.
yourself.
yeah, where you don't know what the outcome is. What you know right now, you know the predictable outcomes, which is safer.
Yeah.
When you switch to like, which I've recently like realized now that I've got surprisingly a lot more time for myself. I'm like, holy shit, I actually want to do all these things. Actually, now I have time to do all these things. I'm not tired. I can improve my health because I can wake up earlier and get active. I can read more. because now I've got time in the morning before I go to work to read up on whatever subject I want to read up on. I can do short courses because I've got a lot of time. Self improvement is now fulfilling me.
Yeah.
I'm a much more positive person. I've got a much positive more outlook, which now leads me to do better at my work because now I have this positive energy
Yeah.
of cool.
And
I'm
the
doing
self
this.
drive as
Yeah.
well, because you give a fuck about yourself and there's something happening for yourself that you're looking for. Yeah.
And I think everyone drowns in this, especially in hospitality, is that it becomes all consuming and you look back at 5 years and you're like, I've disconnected with maybe some people who were close friends
Yeah.
or like you've missed so many
People added value to your life.
yeah,
Yeah.
you've missed so many family events where
This is going to hit a
people
lot of hospitality people.
people
Yeah.
Feels,
No,
dude.
yeah.
people don't know who you are anymore.
No, like anyone outside of hospitality, they don't actually really know, like, because if I try to explain to family and friends, and it's an entirely different, and it's the same thing. Like if anyone else was speaking to us about a different industry, but yeah, they don't realize like the sort of the toll that it takes on you as a person, like how much-
Holistically, not just energy
I-
and time wise.
I think there's this movie actually like a lot of people were like, yeah, no, it hurts. There's two things just on a chef's perspective. The one is a movie called The Menu.
Mm.
That's the one where they go to that fancy restaurant in like
On an island and
yes,
everything.
yes.
And where the first course is literally the sous chef killing himself because his head chef asked him, was like, do you want my life? Do you not the accolades?
Okay.
It was like, and it's called The Mess.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the mess you make of your life,
Mm.
of every relationship and everything. And it's like, it's a true expression of like,
What sacrifices you have to put into it.
you
Yeah.
give so much to destroy yourself. And this is why I said, like, yeah, in hospitality is full of tortured artists.
I mean, they say that time is money, right? But I feel like time is more of the most consistent currency you can get in the world
Yeah.
because
It
is.
it's never gonna change.
No.
You're never gonna get the time you put in back. It's something you got to watch more than the monetary value that
Yeah.
you're getting out of the time. In my personal opinion, anyway.
Yeah, no. Time is everyone can say they can literally quantify that like, yeah, no, your time is worth that. But there are so many intangibles
Yeah.
certain people do in their role that you can't really
Put a monetary value
Value.
onto it, yes.
up until that person stops what they're doing and they leave. Then you
Mm.
start realizing actually
Fuck, I needed that.
Yeah.
now I'm paying double. This is an added cost where I didn't realize it was actually a cost.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is where I think in South Africa, like hospitality is modern slave labor.
Yes, okay, it is, but I wanted to touch on this, and it's only in South Africa, but it's only in South Africa because there's not some sort of consistent governmental interference.
Yeah, regulatory body
Yeah.
that actually regulates and
Checks up on venues, make sure people are getting not just paid their time, but taken care of time wise. Because I've heard so many horror stories about people not getting paid leave, not getting overtime, being worked to the bone, and still getting paid $6.5 grand a month.
I've heard about people not getting paid maternity.
Yeah.
Bro, anyway, let's not open that can of worms because I feel like that's going to be a whole episode on its own.
But it's I think what therapist said is like self-care is important. Like you can want to be the best at your job and be the most efficient, but
If you're not alive to see the end of that job, you're never going to be the best at the end of the day.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like your job is your job. What you aspire to be. If you wanted, if your 6-year-old dream was to be a firefighter, and you still have that passion, go do firefighter training. Why not?
But don't kill yourself trying to be a firefighter trainer.
No, I'm saying go do the training to be a firefighter.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's how you determine if
Yeah.
it's meant for you and it's going to fit. Yeah.
if this is the pivot. If not, you now know, but you've gone through that experience.
And you've
So
tried it.
yeah, so you have achieved a dream.
Mm.
Yes, you weren't a firefighter, but the fact that you went through the training and you realize, hey, I am not equipped for this.
Yeah.
And Charlie Wang is like,
You've had the unearned experience
Yeah.
to be able to make that decision. Or
But that's also kind of part of the journey of life, is it not? Trying to find these things that are meant for you and what suits you.
yeah, but everyone ends up falling into a tunnel vision. Like granted, you fall into the tunnel vision of, especially us hospitality people, you fall into the tunnel vision of you're here, you're at a good establishment, they are taking care of you, and then
Now you're comfortable, and then there's
you're
content
5
that comes
years,
with it.
you're
Yeah.
5 years down the line. 5 years ago, you had multiple aspirations. You think about your current aspirations, and when you actually pinpoint it, you go, this is all relating to this dome that I've built, this tunnel vision where I do not see anything else.
yeah.
Okay, I get
He's
that.
like-
I get where you're coming from.
You're
Yeah.
saying like you don't think too much of like, the position you want to be in 2, 3, 4 years down the line. It's more about like, is there going to be enough prep for this like next month? Like, what's the events coming up? What's
the year outlook?
the scale that you're looking at?
It
in terms
becomes
of your
a
goals
short
is
sight view
short.
instead of
Yeah.
long term. Yeah,
Yeah. Because there's a lot that happens like
Yeah.
consistently. It's you're always having to adapt to new sort of circumstances. There's always something new that's going to come up. So there's always like, it's not distractions, but like there's these new things that pop up that you have to adapt to.
The one thing I do have to say about hospitality, really good hospitality people, creative problem solving.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Definitely, you see it.
You can put
all the
them.
time.
You can always see when someone's worked hospitality and they've switched industries, just how they view and perceive certain things. It's just like, you worked hospitality. It's like, how do you know? I was like, no, how you think?
Yeah,
Kind of shows.
it shows. Yeah,
It kind of shows because, like, I just threw a curveball and you just answered it like, okay, no, we just need to do this. And so it was like, okay. It's like,
you kind of take things in your stride a lot easier than
then other people would be like, okay, let me get back to you.
Give me a week.
Yeah, I need to check. You were just like, nope, this is it. That's literally, and it's like the one thing I generally have to say is you have to problem solve instantaneously, like on the spot. Whatever gets thrown at you, it's kind of like you need the most efficient solution as possible. Yes, sometimes it's not the best, but you're at the time you're like, it will do for now.
It works for now.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out later.
Yeah. Small side question. So, because I mean, I know some people often think about it. I've had this conversation with friends or with like family. Whenever like if you on obviously being the waiter or the bartender or you on the service side aspect, I know I've had this conversation with quite a few people where they bring up of, what if it was sort of a mandatory thing of every single person out there had to do some form of work, employment, being involved in service? Like, how would that change people's
perception as a holistic?
Yeah, because for me, I'm like, because like back in the day, it was like I know with my father, for example, it was like you had two choices. You either worked in the military or you worked, I think it was for government. I don't know if it was government specifically, I can't remember exactly, but you had two choices. You either went straight after high school.
Military, you do your military service.
Or if it wasn't that, then you would do. So like if people had to like do a year in service just to get the experience, like you're not doing it to make the money. It's just for the experience of like because it is a big thing of how you have to maintain a certain level when no matter what guest you're serving, no matter what's being thrown in front of you, you still have to remain calm and grounded to be able to deal with those situations and interact with people and not just be like off the cusp and off the shoulder of like, this is my reaction now.
I genuinely think if everyone did like a mandatory 6 months of working hospitality.
Because for some people it'll break them. Like
waiters would be treated better.
Yeah, and that's
they would be spoken to better. At the like I don't know what it is, but it's like people just like treat hospitality people like they're not human beings.
It's the service aspect.
Because it's always the big thing of like, if we go anywhere as like a group or one-on-one, or if you're taking someone, if I take my family but if I go to a restaurant or a wine farm or a bar with my family, there's certain like key small things where people like my family may say XYZ or they may do this and that. And it's just like a little part of me. It's like twisting. I'm like,
don't do that.
It's like just if everyone had that. Like it's not even so much to say that you have to do that just for your own experience, but at like the treatment that people in hospitality would get. It's so.
Can I give 2 cents on this? Because I feel like this is a bit of a catch-22. I've come from a small town, right, where there's not a lot of temporary part-time jobs available. So what ends up happening is a lot of students end up being waiters and bartenders, but they don't have the passion for it long term. So they don't give a fuck. And that whole lack of passion and commitment to it kind of switches the whole aspect where they're like, okay, I'm just chasing money now for a short period of time to make sure I'm looked after for this 2-3 years, and then I'm out. And then they don't give a fuck. So they never get that.
It really does depend on
introspective experience from it. In my opinion.
I think it's also like.
But
buying into it.
That's also what makes you and me so important in society, because when we do go out with people that don't have that interaction and introspective when it comes to service and how to act in a restaurant and an establishment, we can coach and help them. Like when I go out with my family and stuff, they don't interact with the waiter at all. It's now me and the waiter, because I know how to interact with them.
It's always when orders come through, you're the one dealing with the waiter. You're like, so you want this, you want this, you want this?
Exactly.
Okay, this is the best way to describe it.
We have 3 chicken schnitzels at the table and 2 steaks. You go order it, you bring it here, I'll tell you who's taking it. They serve it, done. Easy.
I think because it's and you can see like I think like if you don't work hospitality, you don't really care about the person. Like you can't see their body language change when you start. So like with me, it's like when I go out to like other friends or family, and I see like the engagement, I watch how like
the little nuances, 100%.
And I'm like, okay, cool. They're happy. They're starting to get edgy. Then I'm like, okay, guys, whatever. Like, let me handle whatever you guys want. Let me place the order through. Whatever. Whatever. At the end of it, I always like if something went awry, I apologize. Give them a massive tip for the inconvenience of like
whatever made them uncomfortable or tweak out.
So it's like, cool. This is like, it's danger pay pretty much.
Everybody at the table leaves happy. The person that's serving you leaves happy. It's a win-win situation for everyone.
Generally, it's not really happy because at the end of the day, it's like, cool, you still were a dick and now you're paying for being a dick.
But at the end of the day, we know that it's going to happen. As hospitality professionals, you know that not everyone's going to treat you like princess, rainbows and sunshine. So you kind of take it on the chin a little bit and you learn to become a little bit more, what's the word for it?
Desensitized.
Exactly.
Thank you. Desensitized, you have a bit more patience.
It is what it is. Hospitality.
So it's the fact that you were able to be that buffer and the cushion made that situation a little bit better for that person.
Yeah.
And that's what's not going to fuck up the entire night. If you get to a table in the same instance and there's not that buffer, it's probably going to fuck up their entire shift. And then they're going to go home, they're going to have 2 glasses of wine, and they're going to be like, what the fuck actually happened tonight?
I think we've all had those nights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
After beer work is
Here's a very difficult question. I find myself, I kind of know how I answer this because I'm just like, yeah. Would you recommend someone enter the hospitality industry?
I would recommend it to anyone. I would 100% recommend it to anyone who doesn't have the assurance of where they want things to go. It is overall just a good sort of experience. It's like I said, like you learn from it. Like it's something to learn from. That interaction, because there's so many jobs out there where you don't, like you may never actually interact with another person in front of you. You have a whole lot less social interaction. You always just end up in a screen. It's the same people on the same conference calls, or it's the same consistent people you're dealing with. And the only people you go out with is the friends. And yeah, sure, if you go out, have a good night, you intermingle with like a lot of other people out there. But that thing of like you don't have control of who you're going to serve and who's going to walk in. That opens up like you have to sort of adapt to the
Be more
diversity of
sociable,
people out there.
100%.
Yeah.
So you would recommend someone to?
I would definitely recommend it if you're young. Yeah.
I would like to touch on what Grant said earlier with the mandatory thing, because I think it is quintessential for people to experience it, but under the right situations. So you have to give a fuck.
Yeah.
You have to try it out. If you see it's for you and it's something that you enjoy, pursue it longer. But if you see it's not, at least you've tried it, you know what people deal with, and you know it's not for you. But if you're going to go in with the mentality of, I don't give a fuck, this is just a paycheck, don't do it. Because then you're just ruining it for the other staff members.
Yeah.
You're ruining the experience for the guests that come to your establishment.
Yeah.
And it just causes more cuck than it's fucking worth.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, because obviously, like, I've worked in fine dining, so, like, I've said this to JJ, I was like, yeah, I mean, cocktail bars is, like, kind of, like, the fine dining side of, like, like, drink side.
Yeah.
Because it's, like, so technical and whatnot. And I was like, you gotta understand, like, wow, fine dining food-wise is, like, it's insane. It's insane.
Everything has to be exactly precise and perfect.
It is, which also like really good cocktail bars. Oh, it's everything needs to be precise with everything. But it's like the hours are vastly different.
Yes.
Because perfection takes time.
No, I'm saying like food fine dining. You will get into the kitchen at like 8-9 in the morning and leave at like midnight 1 a.m.
I feel like that happens at a lot of cocktail bars as well. It just depends on the cocktail bar that you work at.
Coming in at 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
You're coming earlier than, because like, well, take it for one difference of like a cocktail bar, you may start your shift like mid-afternoon at like 2 or 3, and you leave probably midnight, 2 o'clock. But then there's a lot of other shifts out there where you're just working like just generic bar, you work in a bar. Your shift only has to start at 5, you get in there at 4 o'clock. But that 2 hours makes a massive difference for your actual
yeah, no, but I'm saying like in food, like fine dining, like food, it's like 8 in the morning to 1 a.m.
That's a long.
I've worked in bars that are open 8 in the morning till 1 a.m.
You can't.
Yeah, but then you put in.
But it's not a cocktail bar, and it's not as precise and as meticulous work. But it does also go down to shift work. I'm not trying to negate what you're saying.
No, I'm just saying like at the high end, like the amount of labor that puts in.
Yeah.
That's why I would be like, well, my experience is, if you're gonna do it, you wanna be doing it at the highest level.
Yeah.
Or either learning at the highest level. Because think about what you know now going back to Mambo's.
Mm.
How much more efficient
Yeah,
and how much
it's always like there's so many things I could change or I would have done differently, but I didn't have the know-how, the knowledge.
but now
But now, yes,
if you
yeah,
it's for me it's exactly that. It's like everyone's like, why aren't I in a proper restaurant? Why aren't I like, and I'm like, no, this for me, this is fun.
mm.
This is a challenge because it's teaching me to think outside the box, but also think about not just food as an experience of just food alone, but it's like, okay, cool. Drunk people are very difficult to feed.
Mm.
They, because it's like, I want this. So getting people to kind of go, I want to go drinking there because when I get drunk, I know what I'm gonna drink, what I'm gonna eat from it because
Yeah,
that has the perfect combination. So it's like understanding that psychology, and it's like trying to tell people it's like there's a psychology of eating, the
mm.
psychology of consumption, and there's that if you don't fully understand or kind of briefly read into like the subject of consumption and or eating, it's kind of like you don't really know what's going on,
Yeah,
or like you can't be that good. So you kind of fall away.
mm.
So, and it's also kind of compressing everything you learned, right?
Yeah, it is.
Because you don't have those 17 hours now. Now you've only got the 9. And you're still trying to execute the same level that you were in those 17 hours.
well, I can't. Obviously, the setup is in fine dining. It's high concentration of flavor and very small, like
Bites,
yeah.
sizes.
So, because if I gave you like a tablespoon of a puree that I would have made in fine dining, you'd just be like, this is a lot. This is like you eating like a whole bag.
But
Yes.
it's like that
Yeah, yeah.
intentionally because there's 12
Because
different courses.
because I'll use a drop
Mm.
on a dish, and
Yeah.
that drop is enough. And everyone's like, oh, fine dining is a scam. It's yes and no. It's the whole ice block thing.
Yeah,
If we gave you more, you wouldn't be able to eat the amount of courses
Yes,
because the
yes.
flavor is so intense.
yeah,
What ends up filling you is actually the flavor because there's so much flavor and it's so intense that it's just like a bite that you're having now is going to linger for a minute or two.
Mm.
Whereas other places, the flavor's diluted, so I can give you more.
Okay.
So you're eating more. So this is like what I kind of like try to teach the guys at work is like, cool, I'm trying to play the balance of I don't want to give you a lot. I want you to also just enjoy the flavor.
yeah,
I want you to experience like high end, but at a budget.
yeah,
So it's like I'm not gonna give you a shit ton. So a lot of the dishes are quite less, but the flavor is so intense.
That it makes it substantial and worth.
Yeah. So I said to the guys like, yeah, sometimes like a spoonful is more than enough because try eat a spoonful, and I've forced the guys, I was like, and they're like, this is
There's
quite a
lot
lot,
going on. Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, that's why.
No,
If
you
you give
understand.
if you give more, more's gonna come back because it gets too much.
yeah,
So it's understanding how intense your flavor is in contrast of how much you're giving it. It's like, cool, I'm gonna put 26 dashes of bitters in my old fashioned. Why? That is too intense.
yeah.
It's
Even
understanding.
like I remember you with your orange list for old fashions and Negronis. You would tell like the difference of like you get very close to the glass. It's very intense. Like remember that? Like,
Yeah,
you
you pick up the nuances
mm,
because you understand the expression of like, okay, this person knows that the closer you are, the more concentrated, the further you are,
the less it's going to expand.
but it's going to express a different nuance.
A little bit
Yeah.
softer.
It's going to be an additive. It's not going to be the main component.
Yeah.
Like when you bring
So-
it up to your mouth.
It's like teaching the guys that of the balance of the things. Like I've adapted fine dining recipes to be like a little bit softer, so people don't feel like they're getting ripped off because they're like, oh, why am I only getting this much?
Yeah.
A little teaspoon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you're getting like, oh, cool, 2 spoonfuls, and it's like, okay, wow, but it's still
The flavor
like,
still
it
carries
comes
me
on.
through.
Yeah. But I was like, cool, and I was like, I've made them make original fine dining, and I was like, taste this, cool. And they're like, yo, this is intense, and I was like, yeah, cool. Now we're gonna thin it out, and I showed them how to thin out different sauces, purees, and like things. It's like this is what I'm basically showing you is all of these things are basically just mostly highly concentrates that are just thinned out.
And stretched.
Yeah, because the flavor's too intense. So I've literally diluted it enough so it isn't too overwhelming.
100%.
Which they also need to kind of understand the nuance of. But I think
It'll come baby steps.
but I think it also because you guys are bartenders, but you also understand this, like the nuances of, like you start to pick up certain subtleties in different cocktails when people make them. You're like, okay, this person is more on the sweeter side of generally like how they make their
Sometimes
cocktails.
you can get into
So-
the trend of making things the way that you perceive as the best way to make them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parameters and ratios, boys.
Yeah, that is the funny thing. That is it's the worst, but I love it.
It makes it different, bro, and it gives a little personal feel to every time, right?
I feel like yes, work within it, but don't start like chipping away at the block,
And the core
Yeah.
essence of it.
because then it's like I don't actually enjoy. I wanted this, but I'm like, because it's like I've had some old fashions where it's just like I'm drinking something. I'm basically
whiskey and sugar.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
What's whiskey and wood?
oh, or over diluted Negroni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a pleasurable thing.
Just give me an Americano. Why the fuck?
Or a Negroni that's sweet.
Oh yeah. Something that's not supposed to.
Yeah, I no, because it's like it's weird. It's like I've had a place where like, oh no, we had
Simple syrup.
yeah,
To make it more
yeah.
approachable because
Yeah,
nobody
but then
likes a
that's
bit of
just-
cocktail. Yeah.
And I'm
that's
just-
a lack of training.
and I-
Understanding of what the
Yeah.
cocktails make.
and I'm like that's not how this thing is made. You do know that, and you do know that there are international people who have this, and who are like,
who will burn you at a stake if you serve them to it like this.
Yeah. but that's a different story. Clint, are we good? What do we need to?
No, I think we've gone overtime. Right?
Yeah, dude, I think we're let's
Okay,
anything
I was waiting for the right moment. I was really like, guys, so how do we end this one?
Yeah,
It's very deep. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
How do we wrap it up?
it's you guys, because if he's comfortable with going on, and it's up to you guys.
Okay.
you don't want to stretch it too thin.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like that was organic.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fine.
I saw
Okay,
Grant
we need to-
watch like
Yeah.
10
we
minutes.
need to close.
You need
Yeah.
to cue us.
We need to close this because we need to
Yeah.
do okay.
That's what I was
Because I
thinking.
need to go pee.
Okay.
Because he's gonna please chop this out. Please chop this out.
Let's get a clip this
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
No,
Chop down.
just get it 2
Okay.
minutes of wrapping up. We're
Okay.
gonna cut, chop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, Grant, what's coming up, Bran? Tell us what's in your calendar. Anything
Any
exciting?
short-term plans for 2026 is what he's trying to say.
2026. Well, hopefully there's gonna be some more travel opportunities again. Yeah, I think we've done a fair bit of traveling to the States and South America. I think hopefully this time around there'll be a bit more opportunity of travel. That's always just very inciting, just be able to take experiences that you learn from overseas, see the way that people. I think like it's an understanding that JJ and I always had whenever we've had the opportunity to travel is that when you go overseas and you see the way that other people operate and the way that they do things, and it's very eye opening and something that either makes you think I never thought of that before, or makes you think we should be doing this a lot better. And that's always key things to be able to bring back home because every time you come back home, there's sort of like this you get like revitalized and
there's a new fire.
There's a new fire underneath you
yeah.
because those experiences are so key because like
you want to be the best
when you get stuck in a sort of rut or you're doing the same thing consistently over and over. Those new experiences like enlightens you and then opens up something new to your eyes and you try to bring that back home and feel like I should be doing this differently. I should take this, make it my own, and put it into what I do for my sort of job. But then I also know we're gonna have a job coming up now as well, so I'm looking forward to that. And then it's just gonna be getting through winter. Wait for the next season shit show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick. Well, Grant, it has been a pleasure having you on the show.
No,
Thank you for coming.
Luckily, I'll finally pop through.
Yeah. Eventually.
Took some time.
Yeah.
It's so worth the wait, dude.
Yeah. No, this has been a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
And to the viewers at home, come catch Grant at Fable or Cape Town if you want to come visit.
Or you can reach him on his Instagram.
That we're going to plug in the comments at the bottom.
Or any other socials that he's willing to share.
Yeah, it's Instagram.
What if you're on Facebook?
No one uses Facebook. What are we talking about?
Everyone uses Facebook.
We're old. We use Facebook.
We love people's birthdays. That's what
Anyway, Well, that's a wrap.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Peace, love, and happiness. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.